Hi everyone, welcome to my new video series that I am calling Tarot Pep Talks. I wanted to just do a video series that was on just advice and that sort of thing that I feel that I get from certain cards. I had this whole thing, this whole talk prepared and notes written down and everything like that, and then last night I did it in my daily reading, my meditation, and I pulled the Hanged Man. This is the Prism of Visions tarot deck and it is one of my favorites. I pulled the Hanged Man, and I just felt this real need to do a video on the Hanged Man, because it's really relevant to my life right now, but I know that it's also really relevant to everyone's life right now, the whole collective life. On a global scale, the Hanged Man is a really key piece of advice for surviving what is going on. The original video that I was going to do was going to be on how to survive being in isolation and stuff like that, but this came up and told me otherwise. So enough of the pre-ramble. Can't help but talk. I've got both the Rider-Waite-Smith and the one that I actually pulled last night, which is from the Prism of Visions. You got, it's a reflecty. Why is it reflecting? Anyway, you see what they look like. You don't have to read. It's like ambulance. Pretend it's an ambulance. The Hanged Man, the main message that came to me for my personal reading and what I would like to extend to you is the art of surrender. And that being that you have to, shit is happening, there's so much stuff going on that we cannot control. I mean, we can think that we're in control of it, we can think that we're doing we are doing everything we can, we can do everything that we can, but at the end of the day, shit happens. And that is relevant for all the time. Not just during this epidemic, not just during everything that's going on in the world right now, but for any time shit happens. Sometimes things happen that are just completely out of our control. There is absolutely nothing that we can do about it. It's just life. that is just what happens. And I know that in my life I've had so many moments of that happening. I've had so many moments where you just feel like, what is actually going on? What is actually going on? And you feel so completely out of control that it's as if someone is suddenly just jumped in your car and took over driving, and you cannot do a damn thing to stop it. It's just gonna happen. The car crash is happening whether you try and shout at it or not. So the Hanged Man is very much about just surrendering to that. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't control it. You can't stop it. You can't suddenly stop everything that's going on in the world. You can't suddenly just stop all the things that are happening in your personal life, if there are things happening in your personal life. I know there is in mine. You can't do a damn thing to stop it. It is going to happen. It is happening. And you can either completely lose your mind about it and completely lose your mind thinking that you can change something, that you can do something to influence it. You can completely lose your mind trying to control every little thing, or you can just surrender to it and go with the flow. And obviously I've brought the Rider-Waite-Smith version because it's the one, the one that everything is based off of, really. So, but the imagery that is in the Prisma Visions, I really like this, because let me get my big old face out of the way. I just like the idea of the man floating on the water. I absolutely love that, because I feel like that is such a better expression of this card and its meaning, because the sorry, I can hear my other half singing downstairs and made me laugh. Because the floating on the water is so metaphoric of everything that's going on, and of how sometimes you just have to let go. Like, when you're trying to float in the sea, I used to have such struggle with it as a kid. Like, my dad would, when we go on holiday as a family, like, my dad would be floating around in the sea, and I wouldn't understand how to do it. I'd always keep sinking, because I was trying to control. I was trying to trying too hard to float. But when you just let go, you float. Does that make sense? I hope that it does, anyway. But that is very much how I feel this card comes across, because you're just floating, and the waves, you see the waves in like, you know, of the surface of the water is all treacherous, and there's the danger of the piranhas in the bottom, in the water below him, and yet he's just floating. He's just going with the flow. He's just surrendering to the waves, surrendering to the water around him, and letting it just carry him along. And I think there's also something else to be gained from this particular interpretation of this card, is that I keep sitting way too close to you guys. Is another thing that is to be gained from this card, and the imagery that's in this deck in particular, is that the piranhas, like, this is my interpretation of it, of course, so the artist might think very differently, but the piranhas, it's almost like they're not noticing that he's there, because he is so still. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if he was struggling and trying to fight against the current, if he was trying to struggle out of the situation that he's in, then these piranhas would notice that he was there, and then he'd have this extra danger, this extra risk, this extra bad thing happening, because then the piranhas are aware that he's there, and the piranhas will try and eat him. So I really like I like the imagery on this card in this deck, because I think it speaks to how I feel this card a lot more. But anyway, I'm not here to do a review of the deck, but I want everyone who is watching this, I want everyone to just remind yourself that this is how it is. This is what is going on. Like, we can't change this. You know, like, us as single people, there's nothing that we can do to control it. Like, we aren't the ones making the vaccines or whatever they're trying to do. We can't prevent someone or anyone from getting it. We can try and keep indoors, we can self-isolate, we can do all the things that we're advised to do, and God forbid, no one that I know gets it, no one that I care about dies from it. Do you know what I mean? But it's gonna happen. Like, these things, this is happening. Like, there is nothing that we can do to stop it. So what we have to do is to just go with the flow, do what we know we can do, and try not to let the fear of what is happening, like, weigh us down. To try and just allow time to pass, to surrender, to go within. And that's another big thing about this card, is the going within. Sorry, I'm sitting in a comfortable position. Going within, and just making sure. Another big thing about this card is going within and making sure that we are that we recentering, come back to our centers, make sure that we are doing everything that we can to take care of ourselves, to take care of the people that we can take care of. For example, I've got my partner and my children, and so making sure that we are caring for the people that we can care for, and that we are just going through those motions, doing the everyday life, just looking after ourselves, and making sure that we are strong enough to then look after the people that rely on us, and just keep moving. So we need to really sort of take a step back, stop trying to put our hands on the reins. And you see, I'm saying this because this is the kind of person that I am. I want to control everything. Well, not control everything, but I want to feel like I am in control of my life. And when bad things happen, I am the sort of person who needs to fix it. Like, I need to fix it right there, right then. And it can get overbearing for some people, because I can't just leave you alone. If we've had an argument, I'm not the sort of person who will go away and give you time to like chill. I'm like there in your face. Like, what have I done wrong and how do we sort this out? But we can't do that right now. And there are so many things in life, even if you're watching this after all of this has happened, and when there isn't anything going on globally again, and then the world is okay again, Armageddon didn't happen. If you're watching this then, there are so many times in our lives when these big events happen, these moments where it feels like everything is just coming crashing down on us, and there is nothing we can do to hold it up. The sky is going to fall regardless. And those things happen all the time. Well, not all the time, but those things happen a lot. And the best advice for surviving that sort of thing is to just surrender to what's going on, and just go with the flow and go within. Spend that time and energy that you're trying to control with, that energy that you're expending by trying to push everything back together or push everything in a different direction. Let go of that pushing, let go of that trying to control, and just go within. Use your energy to build yourself back up, to do all those things that you need to do for yourself, that give yourself a chance to recharge your batteries, and then, like I say, look after yourself, look after the people that rely on you to look after them. Make sure that you're just going within. You're not expending this energy trying to stop things from happening. You're not expending this energy trying to force things to go in a direction that you want them to go in. Like, just surrender. Just let go, and just let the water flow, let the water and the currents carry you through life, because you can't control life. You can't. There's some things we can do to influence, but in these moments where these sometimes even catastrophic feeling things happen, you can't control that, and you're only going to drive yourself insane by trying to control that. So all you need to do is just sit back, let go. Have I said that enough yet? Surrender. Have I said that enough yet? And just go within, recenter, refocus, and just let it flow. I hope that ramble made some sort of sense. And I hope that you got something out of it. I am just going to try and do these little sort of 15-20 minute tarot pep talks, hopefully once every week, just to try and there's just so many things that I think of, and I want to get that out. I know I'm probably the most uncoordinated person, and hopefully as I do more of these videos, then they'll sound better, and I'll ramble a bit less, and that'll be a bit more coherent. But that is the best I am, unfortunately. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below if you got any helpfulness out of this. If you found any of this helpful. if you please tell me what you think about the Hanged Man, and if my like interpretation of it matches yours, or feel free to add how you feel about it, and especially if it's irrelevant to the topic, to the collective issues that are going on right now, then obviously I want everyone to be able to share their voice and share advice and that sort of thing. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.